on this issue, kind of, right?
Yes, kids. Carla for Kids is my campaign slogan, and really, if we don't save our kids, we're not going to save our future.
Exactly.
So,
and this issue just irritates the hell out of me because it's like, how do we as a society not realize that this is just abuse? It's absolute abuse.
Well, and Carla, you're putting it at the front of your campaign too. Your campaign signs, Carla for Kids. You're putting it out there that we got to stop the weaponization and the sexualization of children, because what they're doing in schools, the transgender agenda, everything that they're up to. I mean, you're putting it at the forefront, and I hope that's waking up some of the Democrats in your area.
I hope so, Jesse, because it's not about being in Minnesota nice anymore. We need people to stand up and protect this generation of children.
Mm-hmm.
So they go to school, like I was sharing with you earlier before the show. I mean, most families are two working families, so they're not being around your values all day. They're not being instilled with the parents' values. They're in school, and that's the values that they're being taught, and that sticks with them, right? When they're in school and they're told,
Hey, Dawson, I see Tushy at the door.
Oh, Tushy! The wings are here. Does he share?
Yeah, give me 1 second. I gotta be my doorman. Dude.
I'll run and get it.
Yeah, why don't we have Jesse? Oh my God, Douchey! It's like he's been a regular on a show. It's been nothing but headaches. Yeah, since he's been a regular on the show. We don't even have anyone reading your comments right now. I have got a guest, not any guest, a very important guest, waiting online to get in and give us an update on the RNC. And Tushy, he is 4 minutes behind schedule. He's gonna blame it on someone else. I get it.
All right.
But I don't think
we'll hear what it
that's
is.
the truth. I don't think it's the truth.
I think
and he's gonna go. First of all, he's gonna go to the fridge. I'm just gonna tell you what he's gonna do.
Okay.
He's gonna probably grab one of my really expensive Monster Energy drinks. Then he's gonna grab 4 Coke Zeros, and he's probably gonna pour them in a big gulp cup. But extreme ownership.
But you really love his
This
content.
is on me. I knew what I was signing on. I wanted to bring you guys the best entertainment and analysis in Minnesota politics, and that's what Paul Touche is. So you got to roll with the punches. It's like, I want to go see Guns N' Roses in concert. Axl Rose isn't going to be on time. He's going to be an hour late. That's just what you get. But I want to go see Guns N' Roses. I want to see Paul Touche. I just can't assume he's going to be here on time, well-dressed, with his own soda and chicken wings in hands. So when Tushy gets on set, I can hear the cracking. I just heard cracking.
I do.
When he gets on set, we'll go to the comment section. But running the dials, Mr. Deep State himself, Dawson. How you doing there, Dawson?
I'm doing just fine. I think that we have to add a stipulation for Tushy. For every minute that he's late, he has to give a wing to production.
Not a bad idea. I think I
helps.
agree with that.
The flats, I guess, are the big thing, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
share your flats?
he can share drummies first. I like.
Oh,
drummies.
you're the drummy.
I like drummies too. Okay. So let's bring Dale Zorb, the mastermind of the studio, who is at the RNC convention, not currently because they're not actually going back till a little later. But Dale is actually an elected delegate from Congressional District 4 in Minnesota, and he's at the RNC convention in Milwaukee right now. He's in his hotel room. Dale, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Well, tell us, what was it like? I mean, you were one of very few people that actually laid eyes on Donald Trump after he was almost taken out. I mean, inches away from being taken out. What was it like? What was the reaction by the crowd when he came in?
Well, it was just they were ecstatic. So he wandered up from the back slowly, and everyone in the stadium there turned around in that direction so they could see him. He went to a private box with his family, and it almost brought tears to the eyes of everyone in the stadium. It was very moving.
Did you guys know ahead of time that he was coming that day, or did you know roughly what time was it? How much of a surprise was it to everybody?
Well, I think it was quite a surprise. I don't think he was anticipated to be there until tomorrow. But JD Vance had been nominated, and so maybe he'd show up. We didn't know for sure, but it was a surprise to see him. He didn't come up on stage or speak to the crowd, but he hung out in his private box, but all eyes were on him, no doubt.
Tell me, what's the security like? I mean, obviously these events are usually very secure, but you would imagine even more so now. What's it look like out there from the ground?
Oh, incredible security. There is metal fencing, expanded metal black fencing, 8 feet high or higher, at least a block surrounding the building, Fiserv Center there. And there are police from all over the country. They've got patches on their shoulders from what state they're from, Highway Patrol and police from many, many states. And they're I also saw I've seen a half a dozen boats in the river in Milwaukee here that have machine guns mounted on the front of them, and there's a Coast Guard helicopter circling the facility, and you had to have a clear bag if you brought anything in. They took everything out of your pockets. They examined everything. I saw them going through, opening up people's wallets and flipping through the money in their wallets to see what's in there.
Wow.
And it was interesting. They were throwing away anybody that had a lighter or anything. Let me see if I can grab what I had with me. Oh, here, I've got it in my pocket.
Was it a couple $1,000? Did they walk away with
Check
that
my
there,
wild
Dale?
account.
Okay. Do you see what this is? So the Secret Service was looking this over, going, "What is this? What is this?" And the guy actually had to call his supervisor sergeant over because when you opened it up, look what it is.
As a toothpick?
It's a toothpick.
Yeah.
And the sergeant said, "Well, what is this?" I said, "It's a toothpick." So I suppose they were worried I was going to go after Trump's other ear.
Yeah.
No kidding. Oh, man.
Anyways, they let me in with it. So I've passed Secret Service
now,
this time.
Dale, some people in our audience probably know you. You're the guy with the infamous rhino jackets. It says conservative voter. It's got a knife stuck in the back. I assume, as pretty much anywhere you go politically, the rhino jacket's with you. Did you try getting in with that rhino jacket?
It's with me, but it is hot and steamy, and I wore this.
Wait, you made me wear that rhino jacket in Orlando in August. What are you talking about? This is Milwaukee. You could wear it.
Doesn't he have the vest, the summer vest one?
He does have like
Yeah.
I do have the summer vest, but I wore this instead, and people liked it, and people really liked the back. If you want to see the back,
Sure,
Yeah.
go ahead. Show us your back.
Okay, hang on.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
What's
Not
it
bad.
say on the back?
Make,
2024?
make liberals cry again? Is that what it says?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what it says. Make liberals cry again.
Yeah, make liberals cry again. Yeah,
There you
that's
go.
it.
Dale, we're gonna break down who JD Vance is, why we think it's good for the MAGA movement. You're there with I was gonna say the biggest fans of Donald Trump, but half of those people are just pretending in that room. But you were there with a lot of people that like Trump, people that believe in the MAGA movement. What's the talk about this pick? I mean, I was fearful it could be Tim Scott or even worse, Nikki Haley, someone I think was actually a good pick. What's the talk in the room?
I think everybody's ecstatic about that pick. JD Vance is going to bring in a lot of new people to the Republican Party, and I think it's just going to be a wonderful addition. I can't wait for the vice presidential debate. Can you?
Oh, yeah, no way.
I mean, I don't even know if they'll do one. Is this? We're watching a video right now. It looks like this might be you taking the video. Is
Yep.
this?
I took out
Yeah.
the audio, so.
Okay, so and we'll actually play the audio of him entering, but this is from you. Okay. Well, Dale, thanks for giving us some comments from the ground and
Yeah, Dale, who's your favorite speaker from the first day? Who's been your favorite
Well,
speech?
There were so many. It's hard to pick a favorite. I will tell you the one that probably had a lot of impact was the Teamsters president, Sean, who they probably gave him 5 minutes and he probably went 15 minutes, but that's kind of the bully he is. But it's amazing how the Republican Party and at this time is really a big open tent. They brought in speakers that are pulling in the black community because, for years, the Democrats have made promises to the black community and they've never fulfilled those promises. The GOP is pulling in, they had a great speaker from the Hispanic community because, once again, promises by the GOP have not been fulfilled. And they're bringing in people that the GOP is really the people's party now. It's not the elites. And it was obvious in the crowd Well, I'll tell you something that was interesting. So the crowd was very grassroots. They are our people.
Nice.
And as part of the as part of the event, every state had to stand up and list how many of their delegates were going to be pledged to elect Donald Trump. And when they got to the state of Kentucky, the person that stood up to make that announcement was Majority Leader was Mitch McConnell.
Ugh.
And there was huge boos from the
Yeah.
crowd.
Yes, that's awesome.
And that didn't happen with any of the other states, any of the other people that got up to speak. Mitch was the only one that was heavily booed, and it was very obvious.
Oh, that
That's
just made my
awesome.
day. Failed candidate has got a comment, says, "Thank you, Dale, for your support of liberty." There you go, by failed candidate. There's Paul Tushy.
Yep.
What do you got, Tushy?
Look at this here. We got Brad Ganser says, this is Brad Ganser says, I bet Tushy is wearing the same Rhino Ron shirt. Well, I bet your face is red, Brad Ganser.
Wearing a Fender shirt, huh?
Rhino Ron it definitely deserves a couple mentions for his terrible record, though. So thanks for bringing him up.
Maybe you also need to mention the wing sponsor.
Well, our wing sponsor apparently forgot to make the order, so this is why I'm late. I heard the trash talk when I was coming in. What I was told, and this is what I was told. It's not firsthand, but someone at Quinny's who makes fabulous wings told me that Janice Quinlan, might be researching what really happened during the assassination and was
told her she
too
could come on the
occupied
show.
with that to put in the order for the wings today.
Well, that
so.
actually does seem plausible. No,
So
let me ask
this
you a
is-
question. Did you grab a bunch of our Coke Zeros and throw it in one of those big gulps?
I did.
Look at that. He's got 2 big gulps on set. There's no one like you. You're literally like, I can't say that about everybody. You are a very unique individual.
Mm-hmm.
What, do you know what the flavor is of those wings? Get them.
Yeah, these are. I got to order them myself today because
What did you get?
I got the gochujang, 20 gochujang wings.
Okay. Well, eventually we're gonna have the Liberty Longbeard sauce. I saw Noof says, "How far away is your hotel from the convention, Dale?"
It is about a 20-minute ride, and yeah, I tell you, it's been raining outside a lot. Today it's cleared up, but it's a 20-minute ride in a bus. And I was originally thinking about driving, but the security is so tight. They've got roads blocked off for blocks all the way around, and heavy police on every corner, cars and trucks and military vehicles blocking the streets. So I'm glad I took the bus with the rest of the Minnesota contingent.
Okay, and you and David Hand have some nice conversations on that bus ride.
Yeah, well, it wasn't on my bus. There's 2 buses actually. There's that many folks from Minnesota. So
You couldn't make the big bus? You're on the smaller bus.
Yeah, no, they're the same size.
Okay.
Size doesn't matter as much as they say it does.
I heard. So you saw Trump. Does he have small hands? I heard he's got small hands, but it looked like he had
He
regular
has
size hands.
huge hands. I've shaken Trump's hand.
That's right,
and
you
he
did.
has huge hands.
Okay. And what is that little thing in your pocket there?
This?
Yeah.
Oh. This is my little Trump.
The greatest president that God ever created.
Love it.
Oh man. Okay, so the convention doesn't pick up until, was it like 5 o'clock tonight or something like that?
Yeah, it starts at 5.
And you were going till 11 p.m. last night. Do I have that
Yeah.
correct?
Yes.
Oh,
it was
man.
it was a late one, and we all came back tired.
Well, Dale, we'll hold down the fort over here while you
Okay.
are making sure we get the next president of the United States nominated. Well, he's actually officially been nominated at this point.
Yes.
So it's just now we have to hear him speak. And by the way, I think it's going to be one of the greatest speeches ever. Because, I mean, how are you not going to want to pay attention to the speech? It's the first time he's talked since his, basically his head was almost blown off. So, well, thanks for joining us very much, Dale, and enjoy your time over there at Milwaukee. Maybe we'll get an update with you on Thursday.
Okay, signing off.
All right, take care.
So I guess if you come in late, you don't get headphones, so you don't get to hear the
No,
guest.
that actually
So
is.
I'm gonna speculate. When you asked us who his favorite speaker was it Amber Rose?
No, he did not mention Amber Rose.
Oh.
He actually was talking about how Mitch McConnell was booed there. Yeah, he was booed. So That's actually interesting. I don't know if I saw that.
Oh
in
yeah,
the-
no, I
You know
noticed
what?
it. I thought that the media was kind of drowning out the booze when it was going on because I was watching the CNN stream at the time, and I thought there's probably more booze than that. But you know, once he kept going, the booze kept picking up. So it was here. You know, you could hear it on the video. But I mean, I imagine being there, it had to have all been booze in that crowd right there.
Let's see who's checking in with us in the comment section here. Tushy, I did see the lovely K-Wall for life. Sorry, I almost called K-Wall the lovely.
Jake
T-Wall's
says the
lovely.
lovely K-Wall for life says we knew this would be a crazy
K-
election cycle. It isn't. Disappointed.
T-Wall's the lovely. K-Wall's just
handsome.
another bro.
Yeah.
Dad of 878.
I was just quoting you, Jake.
We could really Dad of 878. I'll read the comments since you're greasy hands. Look at him go through those wings. By the way, get it. Look at him. Look how he does. He clears the bone. It's the most amazing. Have you ever seen a wing eaten like that? I can't stand it. Like, do you have like a developed canine tooth that does that? Like, I don't even understand how you eat that rubbery mess. Do you he just looks at me like, oh, it's normal, whatever.
Can't talk eating.
Dad of 878. Well, that's your job, Tushy, is to talk. My God, I didn't just hire you to eat wings on set. My God, you really scammed me good.
Well, Jake wants me to talk. I'll tell you the first time I ever had hot wings was September 8th, 1998. And I've been hooked ever since.
K-Wall for life says, I'm here too. There's the lovely T-Wall. Sorry, T-Wall. Dad of 878, we could really use MAGA Jesse's skeptical nature on this one. Obviously, the shooting was scripted and fake. I don't know if it's obvious. I don't,
Yeah.
but let's get into that in just a
I
minute.
know. I've seen people saying that, Dr. Shiva, and the conspiracy theorists trying to argue that Trump's that the assassination attempt was fake. It seems real to me. I think that it's a failure of human error, and I mean, for the Secret Service and the local police, and I'm not going down the rabbit hole that it was fake. I think we are way too deep, and no, I think it's one of the worst days in the history of our country. If they had killed Trump, we would have been in a horrible position, especially with the RNC here. I mean, the whole world would have been a different place. We would have had to reorganize and come up with a new presidential candidate. And aside from that, I mean, to take out Donald Trump, someone who has done nothing but try to make our country great again, it would be the worst day in human history.
By the way, let's get into JD Vance. We can come back to that topic, unless of course, there's a Rumble rant. Well, the rules are.
Janice, come on, talk about the topic.
Yeah, I know, and I did invite her. Rumble rants. So if you want to be part of our conversation, we'll try to get to your comments. But if you for sure want to interrupt us and move us to another topic, you hit that Rumble rant, and that works every time. That's the rules of the show. The one rule of the show is we have to do that. Well, actually, the other rule of the show is Tushy's got to read comments and not eat wings the whole time. So let's talk about JD Vance. First of all, we're brought to you by the great Warren Wessel of Keller Williams Realty. I had a friend the other day ask me my recommendation on a realtor. So first of all, that friend thinks like you and me politically, and he wants somebody he could trust. So I said Warren Wessel. Warren was my realtor. Warren sings in my church choir, and Warren is also a conservative. So give Warren a call at 612-419-7453 if you're buying or selling a home. And by the way, if you're buying a home, and this was just what William was saying the other day because he was on set, and he's used John Galt Mortgage Company, use these guys. They post their social media is just full of memes and great comments about politics and observations, and very economically minded. You're buying a home, give them a chance of financing that home. Go to johngaltmortgage.com. We have a Rumble rant. We better go to that before I get to JD Vance. Oh, it's Bad Ed Harry. Hey.
Hot pepper rant.
I actually haven't seen Bad Ed Harry in the comment section for a while. He must have been busy. So really appreciate
he was
that.
asking Tushy in there. He says, "How hot do you go, Ghost Pepper?" So I think that was
fair enough. You
directed
gotta
for
answer that.
Tushy here.
Important.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, apparently our show just got hijacked by Hot Wings, and
Right.
I mean, there's really a top-rated show already on the
the
subject.
people.
but go ahead, Tushy.
People want what the people want, Jake.
They do. That's true.
So, as the years go on, and possibly even post-COVID, I've noticed I'm not. No, seriously, like since I
You're a
since I-
two-time survivor, aren't you?
I am a two-time survivor. I am the 99.96%. Since I've had COVID twice, I do seem like hot. Like I don't need things to be as hot anymore, and I have less tolerance for super hot things. But like I've been many time Buffalo Wild Wings Blazing Challenge, participant, and there's a couple YouTube videos and stuff out there.
Yeah, I've seen
it's
one
not,
of them.
like that's nothing, right? The Blazing Buffalo Wild Wings Blazing is like a nothing, but there's some super hot wings that I've eaten and I can do it. My mouth enjoys it. My intestines don't enjoy it so much sometimes. The really, really hot ones. It's like, I can eat them. It's fine. I can survive. And then like a little while later, I'm just like in pain. My guts are killing me.
Tushy, you don't know if the blazing wings at Buffalo Wild Wings are ghost pepper, are they? I don't think that they are, right?
No, I don't think so.
I think they did a change at one point. So I've done. I think they changed over to ghost pepper at some point. I don't know if they still are, but I did it when I think they were ghost pepper for a while. One time I won Vikings tickets. I think this was done on a Facebook live stream back before I was banned from doing that. I've been banned from doing that for years, but I was at I've been doing some door-to-door canvassing, electioneering, and I quit around, I don't know, I quit in the evening and stopped at a Buffalo Wild Wings to get some wings. So I got, they had this promotion going on where you could get a free large appetizer if, I don't know, the Vikings got 2 sacks or something like this. So, I got a large fried cheese curds and like a 20 something Thai curry wings. And so I ate all these wings and had a cheese curds. What are you laughing at here?
If people know how much of a Packer fan you are, you're just like, I don't know, the Vikings got 2 sacks or something.
Or some promotion that they had if the Vikings
They
got 2
definitely didn't win the
sacks.
Super Bowl.
Yeah. So I went there. Well, it gets better then. You're gonna really be laughing. So
They made a field goal.
So I ate 20 some Thai curry wings, like the large, which I think is by weight at the time, but 25 of Thai curry wings, and then a large cheese curds and a Jaeger bomb, and then this Vikings player, running back or something, comes in, and they're like, oh, we're doing this live thing with this Vikings player and so I was with a friend and I raised my hand and I was gonna say, oh, how many Super Bowls have the Vikings won? And she was like, knock it off, don't you dare, ask that question, right? So then they said, we're going to do Blazing Challenge, and whoever wins this Blazing Challenge wins Vikings tickets. And I was like, well, I've already, eaten 20-some Thai curry wings and a large order of cheese curds and the Jaeger bomb, but I can do this, no problem. So I gave her my phone, and she recorded me doing Facebook Live and competing against these other guys. And I had 3 wings gone in like a matter of seconds, dropping the bones on the table to intimidate the competition, and these guys just quit. They just were like, well, I don't have a chance. I think they only gave us 8 for that one. I think the original Blazing Challenge was 12. But they only gave us 8 wings each. And I just like 1, 2, 3 gone, bones dropping on the table. These guys are like, I'm not even going to try to eat these hot wings when this guy's almost done already. So I won Vikings tickets and I sold them on like StubHub or something like that. Got good money for them.
Dawson, I booked the Patriot Carla Nelson on the show. Jesse's back in studio first time since Trump's shot.
Yeah.
We have Dale from the RNC convention, and we got the vice presidential pick, which is good for the MAGA movement. We're getting ready to talk about JD Vance. And here we are, 25 minutes in the show, and we're talking about Tushy winning tickets for eating wings.
I think that Tushy's right. I think the people know what they want, and that's what they're paying
Well,
for.
I just have this thought that maybe they came to our show because they want to hear about this JD Vance guy. So let's talk about JD Vance. And if somebody does a Rumble rant, we will follow the rules. But hopefully we can get to JD Vance. All right. So
JD Vance, what flavor wings does he like? Does he ranch or blue cheese? I mean, these are the questions we need to know.
He's definitely a ranch guy.
Billy22 states it best. There's 3 minutes I'll never get back. And lots of comments about what happens to a guy when he eats hot wings. Okay. JD Vance. I like this pick. I think we were talking about this on the show a couple times in the last couple weeks. And this was really, I'm just going to be honest. I think this is called the truth hurts. Okay. I'm just going to tell you. Trump could have lost my vote. Now, that got very difficult after his badass move almost being taken out on Saturday. Let's just be honest. Everyone looking at this goes, damn, that's my guy, right? Now, that could wear off. There's many months. But the one thing, and I've been critical of Trump on a lot of things, especially like what he's done with the MAGA movement in Minnesota by appointing globalist rhino Tom Emmer in charge of his Trump campaign, right, for the state of Minnesota. And then we see the fallout of that. They do the switcheroo and get Rahm out of the race. It's just swamp, right? Swamp taking over that Trump campaign. With that being said, I was so worried that he was going to go with something like Tim Scott, who I think is just bland. Ugh. Like it's like Mike Pence again, or worse, the consultants would get to him and they'd get him to do Nikki Haley, because there is a contingent, and there's a contingent at that convention, I guarantee, that want to see Nikki Haley on the ticket. And if he picked Nikki Haley, there's no way I would have voted for him on principle, because I don't want that to be the future. I don't want her to be a step away from becoming president of the United States. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't want to have a preemptive strike on Iran. And I don't want all that other garbage she's representing. So I was legit worried about this. And then it came out yesterday, and we got, we're in a thread together. And, JD Vance, I think the first story we saw was that Secret Service arrived at his house. And he left with Secret Service. And I go, well, it could be decoy. And then Jesse's showing me the Predict It and the money people are making off of the odds going better and better for JD Vance.
Yeah, I made $14. I made $14 betting on JD Vance, so it was a win for me. I thought, why not? It seemed pretty obvious that it was lining up to be him, especially once Marco Rubio and Doug Burgum got the calls that it wasn't going to be them. It was basically at that point, it's either going to be JD Vance or Glenn Youngkin. Those were the only two kind of left under consideration. And, it didn't seem like Glenn Youngkin and Trump are even that close. They've probably only met each other one time, I think.
Well, Kamala and Biden weren't close, That's how they do it. They orchestrate these things, right? Kamala thought he was a racist while he was running.
Yeah, right. But, obviously Trump does things his own way, too, and he wasn't going to choose someone
hoped.
who...
You say that?
Well,
there's many examples of him not doing that.
You were saying the Nikki Haley thing. It's like, I don't know how many times Trump had to dismiss that one for, people like you to get over it. Because
I know, but
he
it's like...
He said it over and over. I'm never picking Nikki. I'm never picking Nikki. It's like, I don't know what he needed to say to get people to chill out on. He was never going to pick Nikki.
Trump knows his base. He knows that would have been a death call there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I hope he knows that. You're right, because there are a lot of people saying, Mr. President, this would be the best thing for the ticket, the best thing for your chance to win in November. And she polled well, at least not on the Trump ticket. I don't know how much that's been polled, but certainly polled just her being the candidate. You saw that all the time during the primary season. So that was my concern.
Even at our CD4, the people that were delegates for Nikki, they put it this way: we made a mistake, and we actually got too many Trump people in there because no one wanted to vote for the gal that was representing Nikki. So they had to backpedal on it and say, "Oh, I guess we have to have a Nikki delegate." So we had to put her back in. But yeah, no one was fanning for Nikki.
Right.
Well, regarding Nikki Haley, and I'd like to speak with, maybe get the opinion from Janice from Quinny's Pub and Grill, purveyors of gochujang wings, which are delicious. But Nikki Haley was invited to speak at the convention. She wasn't supposed to speak, right? But she was invited at 5:22 p.m. or something like that to speak at the convention. And then what happened 40 minutes later? Trump was shot.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. So she was not supposed to have a speaking spot at that convention. 5:22, hey, Nikki Haley's going to be speaking at the convention. Like she was supposed to be there for, just in case they needed a nominee.
Well, I think those wings have gone to your head big time on that razzle-dazzle.
Yeah,
sounds like I didn't miss anything in the first 25 minutes of the show. You actually missed a good first 10 minutes. We had Dale live from the RNC, from Milwaukee. He was at the RNC convention. We never played Trump's entrance. Maybe we'll get to that later or do that in the post show. We're too far into it. Let's talk about JD Vance. Boy, so much bullshitting on the show today. I can't even get to it. We got to talk about JD Vance. Here's why I like it, other than the fact that, he's not the swamp pick. Can we admit that he's not the swamp pick?
Yeah, definitely not.
Right? They would definitely wanted Tim Scott or Nikki Haley, or maybe on the better end, Youngkin, right? They didn't want JD Vance. JD Vance does not come from him. So I saw someone writing about the
Mitt Romney, when JD Vance was running for the U.S. Senate, Mitt Romney said, I couldn't disrespect somebody more.
Oh,
so,
really?
It's like, I could, that sounds great to me.
Hilarious.
If Mitt Romney hated him before he even got in office, I mean,
endorsement.
what a good sign for him. And, it does seem like JD Vance is a pro-freedom nationalist. He's not a globalist. He's not on board with the whole WEF. He's not on board with China. He's obviously going to take out, he sees China as our biggest, foreign threat in the country, which I happen to agree. How can you not realize that at this point when they're buying up our farmland? And JD Vance is 100% on board with, opposing China, and he really does seem like he's for the little guy. I think it's of the options that Trump had out there, JD was the best one.
Dawson, pull up truthhurtsnews.com. You guys can do this. We'll update the story a little bit. I had to get something up there before we went live. If you're watching this not live, we'll have more details in it and some links. But JD Vance really's got a humble beginning. The nice thing about him, I'm a guy. I didn't come from any money. Like my dad's a Lutheran pastor. My mom was a piano teacher. Like I did not come from wealth. Maybe that's what Mitt Romney had against him. Mitt Romney did come from money, did come from prestige. His dad was the governor of Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was the senator of Massachusetts, and now the senator from Utah. What a weird family that is. Interesting. You know that?
I didn't know that. That's why I watched the show.
Oh,
so I
yeah,
can
Romney.
Yeah.
learn it all.
You know the Romneys are from Mexico?
Yeah.
No.
Do you know why they're from Mexico?
No.
Because Utah basically didn't allow polygamy, which was very rampant in the Mormon faith.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a large population of Mormons down in Mexico who want to continue on the practice. The more you know.
Yeah.
You can take it off that article. I'm just going to follow this article. So he comes from very humble beginnings. Now, there's a book about his life. He wrote it, so he's a New York Times best author. It's also made into a movie on Netflix. And the interesting thing about, you can get rid of the article there, Dustin. People, you just go to truthhurtsnews.com. You can read more about it. So he comes from very humble beginnings, like the most humble beginnings. Basically, mom and dad divorced when he was a toddler. So he's raised by a mother who's a drug addict. And from an abusive family, what?
Sorry, I'm trying to get Tushi's attention.
Oh, you're getting Tushi's attention.
Yeah.
What do you need Tushi?
I-
Did you make too
it's
much
up.
noise?
It's up whenever you want to show it.
What's up?
What's up? Not much. What's
Well, I
up?
sent him my top 2 reasons I felt that the pick was a good pick.
All right.
Good guy. I'm trying. Look at what this guy's doing on my show. Well,
Maybe
it's
you
not my
should
show. It's
switch
everyone's show, I
seats.
guess. That's
Yeah.
why.
Right.
That's why I was trying
It's
to
the
keep it
people's
subtle.
show.
You know?
It is the people's show. Is it okay to continue? Can I continue?
Proceed.
Okay. Thank you. So JD Vance, abusive upbringing, raised by his mother, who I think was, or grandmother, played by Glenn Close in the movie, and then Amy Adams was his mother. Very good job in the role that they did. So, if you were an odds better, you would say this guy is not going to amount to anything in life. Ends up graduating high school, becoming a U.S. Marine, gets deployed to Iraq. I think he's something like in the media or combat photographer or something like that. After his enlistment in the U.S. Marine Corps, so we have a veteran. And by the way, on this presidential ticket, the only one to serve in the armed forces, okay? And overseas in Iraq. As a guy like me, once again, identifying as this guy, he's just a little younger than me, but not much. Also not coming from anything, also served in Iraq. So I like it very much for that point. But he goes to Ohio State. Now, I won't hold that against him, okay? Although Ohio State does have a decent football program, I think we can admit it. Can we admit that, Tushy? I know we're both Badger fans. We can admit they got a okay program that's done very well against their Badgers in the last decade. So anyhow, he goes to Ohio State, graduates from Ohio State with honors, and gets accepted to Yale Law School. Now, that's the ding against him. Although I usually don't like people that go to Ivy Leagues that come from money. Here's a guy that came from nothing, moved up and went to an Ivy League school, and that's where he got his law degree. Ends up practicing law a little bit, goes out to the West Coast in venture capital, comes back and starts his own venture capital firm, and has, like Peter Thiel, as an investor in his startup firm. So this guy's obviously impressive to some of the people out in the West Coast. Came from nothing, made it on his own, and probably could ride off in the sunset. Married a woman, has 2 children. I think 2 children right now. Could ride off in the sunset in a great private career, but decides. Actually, there was talk about him running in 2018, but ends up running in 2022 in what was known as a swing state. Which it sounds funny where we're at right now. We're here in July of 2024, and it was only 2 years ago. Ohio was a swing state. We didn't know where Ohio was going to go. And now it's like Florida and Ohio aren't even called swing states. Isn't that crazy?
It's awesome.
So he wins his race against Tim Ryan, which was really a tough race, right, Jesse?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, Tim Ryan was a moderate, and he, even though he was selling himself as a moderate, I mean, once you dig into the record, he's just as bad as the rest of them. But Tim Ryan at the time, he was challenging Nancy Pelosi, saying he would rather be the speaker against Nancy Pelosi. But then he came out on video saying, "I love Nancy Pelosi." So people, people saw that he was being a fraud, that he was just doing it because of optics. It wasn't because he wanted the Democrats to actually move into a meaningful direction towards the center. It was rather that he wanted to be able to win more elections for the Democrats. So it wasn't out of anything other than opportunity. And so Tim Ryan, he was a tough opponent. He put out some incredible commercials himself. Tim Ryan was a strong debater. So JD Vance, it's not like he could just walk into this thing. He had a very tough primary, and then he had a very tough general election. And Tim Ryan gave him a run for his money, but JD Vance proved that he was an electable guy in a swing state, which is part of the reason why I think Trump chose him, because he's not only just tested, but he's been recently tested as early as 2022. So we know what this guy's about. He's proven himself in the Senate, and it's nice to see that somebody can get the fast track onto the vice presidential role just because you got a guy like Trump who is willing to see the magic in JD and give him this opportunity. I think it's working out as well as it could have.
I see Razzledale says, was born James Donald Bowman. So if you're wondering where the JD comes from that, James Donald, and then Bowman, which is really interesting.
But now he's James David.
Yeah, so as I was mentioning, you have to understand that. So he is born, and I don't know enough about his father, but his father wasn't part of his life. So his parents divorced when he's young, so he's not raised by his father ever, but he had his name upon birth, ends up being adopted by, I think, his stepfather at the point, his mother, and once again, his mother, drug addict. You can watch Hillbilly Elegy. It captures a little bit of this stuff. And then eventually is basically raised by his maternal grandparents, which that's where the Vance comes from. That's her last name. So just imagine a young kid goes through 3 name changes in his life just alone because of how shitty of a family situation he has. Once again, great story. I mean, it's not just my subjective view. It's a great story. It's a New York Times best-selling story, right? So once again, if you haven't read the book, haven't watched the movie, go do it. But that just means more to me that this guy has aspired now to become a U.S. Senator, won by 6 points in Ohio, and now he is on the cusp of becoming the next vice president of the United States of America. I would say right now he's going to be the next vice president of the United States of America. But he's 39 years old. He'll be 40 by election day. He's the first millennial to be on it. How much have we complained on this show about how old these candidates are? RFK looks youthful because he's very fit, but he's 70. And let's just be honest, RFK is not going to win. He's going to do some damage to probably more Biden. I don't know if you're switching on that, but
yeah, no way.
Well, I think it might still do more damage to Biden, but anyhow, they're not young, and even Kamala, she's probably in her 50s, right? So here you have a literal millennial, the youngest, the first millennial to run for a major ticket in a presidential election in the United States of America. The other thing I like about him is he's not always been a Trump fan. And let's be honest, have we all been? I mean, not all of us are Jesse. None of us have the MAGA as part of our name. A lot of us were critical of Trump. Some of us still critical of Trump. Doesn't mean that we're not supporting Trump or that we don't see the good in Trump. We don't have TDS like Jack Black's bandmate or the whole mainstream media or Liz Cheney.
Jack Black apologized for that.
Well, yes, because it was his bandmate, but his bandmate said
and he says, it happened so fast, I didn't think of what to say. So,
did you see what actually happened from that? It came out like just a couple hours ago. They're stopping their tours, and they're not going to do anything creative for the foreseeable future.
Right.
Listen, it sucks, and you can't hold Jack Black to what his bandmate said, right? I thought it was Jack Black when it was reported yesterday.
No, they just had to have his name in the headline to get
I feel
people
bad
to click.
I think Jack Black's great. I know we disagree in politics.
He needs to stay away from politics. Exactly. He needs to just stick to Kung Fu Panda. Besides that, he doesn't need to be further involved. What was the other one he was in? School of Rock? Is that what
he's
it's
in
called?
a lot of things. Yeah,
lots of things.
Nacho Libre, the Muppet movie.
Nacho Libre. Yeah.
But on your point, Jacob, you saying that he was against Trump. So the narrative that Trump always puts him around with people that are going to say yes to him and just go with his agenda.
Great point.
No, he's gonna stand up for what he believes, and I think Trump really that's not a true thing. I think Trump likes people that bring in new ideas and challenge him. Because I think he is one that takes advice from people. He's not like, this 100%. Is how it's going to be and we're going. So
100%. There's not a guy that does as well in business like him that doesn't seek outside views or views that are contrary to get to the correct answer. 100%.
Because Pence looked like that guy, though, didn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, it seemed like Pence was,
a yes
man. But with this JD Vance pick, it's kind of like, okay, so he he's not just taking a yes man, because if he's going to say if he's not in agreement.
I mean,
Yeah.
Pence-
Right, especially
Pence-
like Ukraine. Ukraine is a very important one. JD Vance has been opposed to the funding of the Ukrainian war. And so if Donald Trump is not fulfilling his campaign promises on that to end the war, then JD is going to have to be there to step up and push Trump to do the America First thing. And also there's some issues that there could be two different stances America First people could take on it. So it's good to have, another set of eyes and someone else who has the same vision, America First, that is going to be able to analyze these things fairly like Trump. So I agree with you. I don't think Trump just wants people who are going to nod along and not question anything. He wants people to make him the best version of himself.
Okay, well, for life says Kamala's gonna be 60 by election day. Not that 60 is old. It just, once again, it's like, George W. Bush, Clinton, they were in their 40s when they ran for president. What do you have for us, Dawson?
Well, I was just going to say Pence was a yes man up until the election was happening, right?
Well, yeah, the 2020 election, or after the 2020 election.
Yeah, and
You know,
Pence has
being a
been
yes
quiet.
being a yes man is not a bad thing, especially when it comes to your shipping needs. That's why you need yes solutions. I was just thinking
What
that
a
you're
segue.
feeding it to
What
me
a
here.
segue.
You're feeding. We'll get to your company because I do want to talk about it. You are a sponsor of the show, which we really appreciate. You make this all happen, but I don't want to get sidetracked. She's good at that. Let's finish up on JD Vance. He did say some critical things to Trump. At one point, he was discussing in a private text message with a friend, who then released it to the public. What an asshole of a friend. And it was like JD Vance saying, like, Trump seems to be in the range of, and I can't remember the one thing he said, but all the way up to America's Hitler.
What? I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'll just be honest with you. I mean, I would never have said something like that, but I've said critical things of Trump, and I certainly have said critical things of Trump in private messages. You're a normal person for saying that.
Right.
There are things to be critical of Trump. That's actually why a lot of us are so upset with the corporate media, because the things they're upset with Trump about is so bullshit. And we're like, yeah, but I kind of do have a problem with Operation Warp Speed. And I do have a problem with him keeping Fauci. And I do have a problem with him increasing the money supply overnight and inflating the currency. I got legit problems with his deficit spending. I got problems with Trump. But you guys are off there screaming Russia, 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 and it's bullshit. And by the way, if the mainstream media wasn't already discredited, just how they handled this shooting discredits them, right? I mean, they had no credibility before it, but they're just pitiful and awful. We covered this on Sunday night's program. They couldn't even call it an assassination. They were saying there's popping noises. One said Trump fell, like as if there was no context to him falling that day. So these guys are just worse. So he said that. He's been critical of even the MAGA movement. But you know what? That was 8 years ago. He's a 31-year-old guy, I'm just going to say it's good to see a guy turn around and understand things. And
Right. And JD Vance has talked about this on Sean Hannity already. Obviously, it's going to be the question that the media is going to throw at him again and again and again. Why were you critical of Trump in 2016? Why are you in favor of him now? And, his answer has basically been, I was wrong in 2016. I didn't understand what he was really doing. I was falling for the media lies. I didn't realize that he was actually going to fight for this America First agenda, because a lot of people had no idea what to actually anticipate from Trump once he got in there. He was making promises, but, most politicians, they don't live up to anything they say in their campaign. So nobody really knew what Trump was going to be like until he got in there. And then once he was in there, it was clear he was fighting the deep state, and that's why the deep state was making up the Russiagate, the Ukraine, all these lies against him. They had the P tapes, whatever they wanted to use against him, because they had to come up with something.
God, I forgot about that one.
But, that's why I think for JD Vance, like a lot of Americans, he didn't see what was actually going on until Trump was in there. And then once Trump was in there, it's so clear that you got to stand up and, and I don't mind that, he's not a hypocrite by changing his mind here. He's saying I was wrong, and it's tough for anybody to admit that they were publicly wrong and have to correct themselves. So the fact that he's willing to do that proves that he's, got more honor than these other people who just stick by their lies no matter what.
Oh, we got breaking news. This is breaking news brought to you by Yes Solutions. Democrat Senator Bob Menendez found guilty of all counts in a federal court trial. This is Daily Wire reporting on it.
The gold guy.
Yep. So here we go. We've got literally found guilty in a federal court Tuesday in all 16 counts following a 2-month criminal trial where he faced charges of corruption, bribery, obstruction of justice, acting as a foreign agent, and conspiracy. Menendez and his wife Nadine, whose trial is
tried
delayed.
to blame his wife.
Yep, whose
Yeah, he
trial
tried
is
to blame
delayed as
his
she
wife.
battles breast cancer, were indicted in September for allegedly accepting bribes from 3 businessmen in exchange for actions he took as the chairman of the powerful Senate Foreign Relations Committee. According to the Department of Justice, the alleged bribes were intended to protect the businessmen and to the benefit of Egypt. Prosecutors later said in a revised indictment that Menendez also allegedly used his clout to help a friend secure a multi-million-dollar investment deal from the Qatari government, in part by taking actions that benefited Qatar. One of those co-conspirators in the case, New Jersey businessman Jose Uribe, testified in the case that he bribed Menendez in exchange for Menendez pressuring prosecutors to not pursue criminal charges against Uribe and his business associates. Okay, so first of all, is he resigning today? Is
No
that
way.
going to happen in the U.S.
I
Senate?
think no way. He's already doubling down and running for re-election. He's running as an independent, and not even an independent. He's running under a political party called Menendez for Senate. So there's no way he's going to drop out. He's already polling only at 5%. This was before this ruling's come out. So no, I think he's and his son is still in Congress in New Jersey too. He's got his son Rob Menendez, who's also in Congress. The whole family is involved in this thing, and they're in way too deep to give up now. So no way, Bob Menendez is sticking this thing out. He is in that race, and he's in it to win it.
Yeah, and I love all the Democrats are going to be like, oh, well, Trump's a felon. I'm like, Trump for fraudulently.
Well,
like,
I think the only Democrat who's called out, what's his name, Menendez in New Jersey here is John Fetterman. John Fetterman's the only one that I've seen that's called on him to resign. That's a Senate Democrat. Besides that, it's been total silence. Chuck Schumer's covering up for him, and all of them. It's pretty crazy. But I mean, he's definitely not going to win his reelection.
But can he? Now that he's found guilty, it's different of being charged. But now that he's found guilty, can he still even? I mean, isn't there?
No.
Don't we have?
Well,
No,
they
idea
did
is
kick
that
out
you
George
could be-
Santos. I mean, obviously the Senate could have
Said it
the
could.
authority to make the motion to say that we need to remove this guy because he's corrupt and he shouldn't be on these committees. He doesn't have, he's bought out by these foreign governments. Theoretically, the Senate absolutely could and should take action on removing him.
Well, we have a leader that was bribed.
Right.
I mean, how do we allow that on a ballot? What is wrong with our
well,
country?
proven in court, right?
But didn't you just say that he was found guilty, right?
Proven in court. That's what they say. I mean, look, it just goes once again. Trump just keeps everything just keeps going his direction right now. It's insane.
Yeah,
I've never
it's been
seen
a
something
great
like
month
this.
that way, except for, of course, the ear thing. But
All right,
Menendez,
so let's talk.
Menendez ought to take a page out of Trump's book. I think he should go to courts and seek some immunity from.
Well,
these
I
guys.
think actually Menendez is a piece of shit. Honestly, I think he's a corrupt politician
obviously,
who literally did this stuff, right?
Well, and especially from
Speaking
New
of corrupt
Jersey, I mean,
politicians, now I was hoping maybe somebody could explain a meme to me. There was a meme. No, we don't have it, Dawson.
Oh, we have it.
All right,
Okay.
go ahead.
You know,
Paul.
there
Put a
was
meme on here.
Jesse mentioned Kung Fu Panda, and then Jake seemed to agree. Now I've never seen the movie, but there was a meme that was widely dropped during the State Central Committee meeting in December. And as you can see, I put this on David Fitzsimmons' wall on Facebook. This was airdropped to me during Senator John Brzezinski's speech. I don't understand it, but it seems like a movie. I'm told it's a movie reference. So what is this all about? I don't even know what this is.
I don't know either. What do you?
well, that's Tom Emmer, right?
That's Tom Emmer. When he's put his
Right.
hand out against David Fitzsimmons, he says, I'm Kung Fu Panda, I'm the chosen one. And I was like, what in the world is this? And then somebody said it's from a movie. And then Jesse said Kung Fu
Yeah,
Panda.
Kung
I'm
Fu
like, I'm
Panda.
trying to learn what this is about.
This is a very dank meme.
This is
a very
This is what you interrupted us for.
If it wasn't significant, why would it have been widely airdropped at the State Central Committee meeting?
I don't.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right.
so, dude. I don't know if I'm supposed to not listen to Tushy when he sends me stuff or
Hey,
what.
people
but-
know what the people want.
It's
Speaking
a
of,
hang. It's a hang, right, guys? It's a hang.
speaking of Bill Dingspan says,
I don't know who's
who
speaking
cares
of.
about
Who
some
was speaking of Bill
Democrat I never
Dingspan?
heard of. Let's hear more about Wings.
No one was speaking of Bill
And then-
Dingspan.
Wings says, I'm with Bill Dingspan.
I'm sorry, guys. You're probably going to have to do a Rumble rant if you want to actually have your comments read today, because he's clearly not. He's paying attention to Bill Dingspan and someone called Wings, and otherwise just eating wings by himself and pulling up random memes no one gets.
we gotta be careful too because we're kind of running on a schedule today.
Oh yeah, that's right. We really do. We got another shooting.
Yep.
Okay, we got to be. Come on,
chop
Jake.
chop.
Discipline. Let's talk about Yes Solutions. Carla, tell us about your company.
Oh, well, Yes Solutions was founded in 2009. That was the market crash, right?
There you go.
And I wasn't following politics at all. I had no clue. But anyway.
Were you never involved politically before that?
No, not until 2016.
Oh, okay.
I would be
So
one
was
of
it
those.
Trump that got you into politics?
No, actually, I was a Ted Cruz'er. And I don't
Oh.
know. I just, but I became a strong, what? You don't like Cruz?
Well,
He's
yeah.
awesome.
He doesn't. No.
Anywho, yes. So my company, we ship pallets and truckloads, flatbed, van, across the U.S. and Canada. And the thing of it is, if you're a smaller business just starting out, it can get complicated because government regulates everything, right? So everything runs under a class, and you have to know what the class of the freight is, and it can be time consuming. And actually, it's pretty boring, that part of it. So we handle all that busy work, all the details per se, and so you just tell us what you have, and we take care of the rest.
Okay. And,
So-
what's like the kind of customer that you usually are looking for?
And that's the cool thing about shipping, because we're in all the industries instead of just pigeonholed in the grocery industry or the whatever other industry. But we're in all industries. We ship insulation, building materials, steel coils, foam. I do a lot of foam. So everything that is around us has been on a truck at one point, right?
Yep.
So it's a very lucrative transportation. It's a great
So I always
business.
say, no matter it's a pallet or a truckload or multiple truckloads, you call Yes
Yeah.
Solutions. Now, here's the thing that I always screw up, and I tell them, we'll call Kyle. What's that number again? Put it on the screen, Dawson. I say call Kyle at Solutions. Call Kyle 651-797-2451.
Yes. Because I'm
Can
trying
they
to run
call
a
you, though?
campaign.
Okay,
Yes, it's really hard, and
got it.
I'm.
Okay, you're trying to manage your time.
I am, and right
But if
now,
someone's like, I really want to talk to the Patriot Carl Nelson, I
you
saw her on this
absolutely
great show.
can. I would
Okay.
love to take your call.
All right, there you go.
Yes.
But Kyle's a good guy too. I'm guessing.
Kyle's awesome.
Okay, call either Kyle or the Patriot, Carla Nelson. If you want to call Senator Carla Nelson, don't call that number. If you're trying to call the
Please
Patriot, Carla
don't.
Nelson, there you go. How was that for our ad run? By the way, it's supporters like you that make the show happen.
Thanks, Jake.
Unfortunately, it's sometimes going to pain guys like this who completely make the show into their. Oh wait, look, audience is going up. All right, maybe She's doing a good
Maybe
job.
I should
All
send that tweet about Senator Carl Nelson to.
Save it for the post show. By the
Okay,
way.
in the post show, we're going to look at Senator Carl
Okay,
Nelson.
all right.
Who's
And
calling
we're-
Kyle? Who is that? Failed can. Thank you for calling Kyle.
All right, there we go.
Yay.
Oh, there you go. A new customer from the failed candidate.
Tucker 91, $5.
Who is
Jake,
that?
have you shown Carl the pic of my accident at work the other day?
Oh,
What?
yeah, we do have a shipping accident. Can you?
A shipping
Post show.
accident?
Yeah, post. That'll be a post
Yeah.
show. Yeah, we got to get. What other? There's
And
one
what
other
about,
topic.
what
and then we
about
gotta
the
do
other
post show.
two reasons that Liberty Longbeard thought that JD Vance was a good pick? Or do that's a post show too?
Can't keep track of your weird ad and where you go.
Is that
I
going in
thought
the
the meme
post
was
show
the
too?
thing you were doing.
Oh, here. Okay, I
there
guess
you
it's
go.
going on the regular show.
All right.
doing?
All right.
Oh, hey.
While JD Vance wasn't my first choice for VP, I like the pick. It was
Wait
one
a
of only a few safe options for
Yeah.
Trump if he wants to live. As a bonus, fiscal conservatives can repurpose our old signs by changing only 2 letters and 1 number.
Wait, I don't
not
understand
bad.
that. I don't understand the line. It was one of only a few safe options for Trump if he wants to live. I don't understand that line. What's that line mean?
Like if he would have chosen Nikki Haley or Youngkin
Oh,
or
they
God
would
knows
opt
who
him
else.
because they'd rather have her.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I
Yeah.
gotcha. All right. All right. What's your other thing? You said you had 2.
The other one's a post show, right? We're going to do the video Carla Nelson.
Oh, but I
and
thought you had
Senator
2
Carla
things on
Nelson.
JD Vance.
No, those are the 2 reasons. That one, it's Trump.
Oh, to
Trump
keep
can
him
live,
alive. I
and,
see.
and 2, we
Okay.
can repurpose the signs.
Okay. Now can we continue?
Sure.
If this is the first time you're watching the show, this is what you get. It's a hang, right, guys? It's just a hang. All right. What's Tucker saying? Yeah, we'll get to it in the post show. Cindy Lou, good to see you. I think Cindy Lou is one of the newest subscribers. By the way, if you want to subscribe and help out the show, $8 a month, go on Rumble and click join. That's how you get access to the post show. By the way, I had an idea, Tushi. We haven't discussed it yet, but I'm thinking it would be good for you to do a show, maybe a weekly show, and it's only for subscribers. We'll talk about it later. I got some ideas. I think you're going to like it. Anyhow, we'll build more and more, and as we go along, I want to do documentaries and things like that, so it'll be great. Okay, I want to talk about Newsom. The pro-union speech will have to wait for the post show.
Oh boy.
Okay, let's just quickly do update on Thomas Crooks, the shooter. Pull up the BBC article here, Dawson, because I did tease that here in the show description. So the most interesting thing, and I think a lot of you guys are starting to see this in the media, we did a Sunday night show because we wanted to get the information that was available then out, but I think a lot of people have covered it. Literally, the Secret Service is one complaining about the slope of the roof. Have you seen that? That's a crazy statement they've made. By the way, the snipers they had were on a bigger slope roof. But we know at this point that there was cops that identified this guy 30 minutes prior to the shooting. Okay, we do know, and we talked about this Sunday night, a cop actually went to the rooftop, and the gentleman pointed his firearm at him. So at this point, and this is Tuesday at 1:57, we don't know a lot about Thomas Matthew Crooks, because he has no social media that we know of. Now, he could add some pseudonym or some other thing, some account that wasn't his name, but we don't know of it at this point. And so far, no details have emerged from the FBI from the phone, which they've apparently got into, which to me is crazy. So I'm just going to throw this out here, and I'm not going to make connections. We'll bring Janice on here for the connections. But you got a kid. He's from Bethel, Pennsylvania, which is 43 miles. This is all in the BBC thing. 43 miles from where the assassination attempt was. He worked in a nursing home kitchen. He attended a community college of Allegheny, and he had graduated with an associate degree in engineering science. He graduated with high honors. He was accepted to the University of Pittsburgh as a transfer student for the fall of 2024. We've all heard that he was registered as a Republican, which really doesn't mean anything. It means he could have just wanted to vote to not have Trump in the primary. We know he donated $15 in almost arbitrary amount.
Or his parents are Republicans. That's the
Could be
explanation.
another,
That's what would make sense. I don't know. It would be interesting to kind of try to understand the political leanings of this kid, but now that he's dead, there's a whole lot less to be able to work with. And the social media thing's weird. Most young people have some form of social media in some capacity. So I don't know. I hope that they're not withholding information from us, but that's kind of the impression that I'm getting, because the slow leak of information has been way too slow, and I feel like there's a whole lot more that we would know about this guy already. And I do feel like they're withholding some of it, and I hope that the FBI or whoever else is going to release all of that, because this needs to be full transparency. If we, the people, can't know, then, I just don't understand why they would be covering up. The guy's dead. What are they protecting at this point? They need to release all the info.
Yeah, but remember, the Nashville shooter, the transgender shooter, they never released the manifesto. It got leaked to Steven Crowder.
Mm-hmm. So it needs to fit their narrative. Yeah.
She, I think it was a she that wanted to become a he, died, so you could make that same argument there. And the stakes are even higher here, so that's even more reason for them not to let it out. Obviously, there's a reason that the deep state didn't want to release JFK stuff, right? The JFK files. There's a reason that presidents keep that one classified. So apparently he belonged to a gun range where they have a 150-yard target as the AR-style firearm, which Trump in the leaked audio of RFK says that's a pretty big firearm, isn't it? I don't know. We'll get into that in the post show. It's a really interesting statement. So this is his father's firearm, which was purchased about 6 months ago. Box ammunition apparently was bought recently. He bought a ladder from Home Depot. So, and then as alluded in the comments, he was in a BlackRock commercial. We played that on Sunday night. To me, that's just completely coincidental. I don't think BlackRock's trying to assassinate the president. If they were, why would they put him in a commercial, right? But it is interesting because BlackRock is immensely powerful in terms of their influence over all the major corporations in the United States of America. What's so fascinating, no social media, and we are getting a slow leak, as Jesse had pointed to. And I think as a nation, it's damn important we understand why the hell this kid did it. All we can find, the only narrative I see shaping right now in interviews with former students of his, is he was bullied a lot. Mm-hmm. But you don't get bullied a lot and learn how to shoot and go and try to take out the leading candidate for president. Doesn't make sense. What do you got, Carla?
Well, so it just kind of comes back to the kids. He was 20 years old, and it's a very sad story. 20-year-old kid. I mean, how do you get to a person that is that committed to a cause, right? And again, in these
But
schools,
you just said a cause. What's the cause?
but they're taught in school that they have to fight against this cause, and I don't even know that they research the cause, but they just do what they're told. Be an activist. You need to help people. And now you have the mainstream constantly feeding them that Trump's going to be a dictator. We're going to lose our democracy. Well, this is what happens when you do that. You pump all this bad information into this young mind. And what happens, right? So,
but you know what's interesting is he's an outlier in his age demographic and sex, because most young men in that age demographic are skewing far more to the Republican side, far more pro-Trump. So I'm not doubting what you're saying. It's just that it's not seeming to work with most people. So I don't know.
I really think in school they're really pumping to be an activist.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. I'm just saying,
right? Yeah,
it's like. We would like to know if information, because it would be an interesting story if that's what led to it, but we don't have anything. How do we not have anything?
Yeah,
and
we need
here's
more
the scary thing, and I really am asking this sincerely. Will we have something? Will we ever know? Can you imagine we don't know?
Well, if Trump gets in there, we'll know. Trump is going to expose it if he gets in there, but we might have to wait until then.
Jesse, I don't even believe that. These guys lied to Donald Trump about how many troops were in Syria.
Mm-hmm.
It was Donald Trump as president when Jeffrey Epstein was murdered in a high security federal prison. The reality we have, and this is the argument for Trump, because if there's anyone to slash this problem that we have in the deep state, it would be Trump. But I don't know if he can. They straight up will lie to these people or threaten. I don't know what it is. But, I'm not even fully believing that. Now, I hope I'm wrong. But I hope we find out, because once again, we have a high stake thing. You just heard from Dale at the beginning of this episode. He's at the RNC convention and the security measures that are taking place. Alex Jones, who's on Tim Dillon, by the way, talks about there's going to be like a car bomb or something like that at the RNC convention. Now Alex Jones might be just whack here, but saying there's going to be more violence. It seems very important as a country that we know what led this guy to do what he did, right? Because otherwise we don't know if it was something bigger. We don't know if there's more people that have been radicalized for this stuff. We don't know anything, right? All we know is he's a 20-year-old sick kid who ended up somehow getting through the security that seems to be something that Secret Service should have had in its perimeter and in a secure location. So that's where we're at right now. Tuesday at 2:04 p.m., and that's the most we can tell. And by the way, at least the media and Joe Biden are admitting it was an assassination attempt. So, and badass Trump is out there being seen in the public with a patch over his ear. Dawson, let's go back quickly and play him walking into the RNC convention. As Dale said, they were not expecting it. So this came as a shock to people when Trump entered. Isn't that cool? And you could just jump ahead here, but you'll see he'll actually take the walk. It's probably just easy if you hit there you go. And then and as Dale mentioned, it went crazy, chilling, moved him emotionally, moved everyone emotionally. There he is waiting. They end up having Lee Greenwood. What's his name? Lee Greenwood. There he goes. Lee Greenwood singing God Bless America as Trump actually comes out. Patch over his ear. By the way, can we admit that Thursday night's primetime speech by Trump is going to be interesting? And I heard that Royce is trying to reschedule the debate between him and Joe Frazier. I didn't catch this last week when they talked about Alpha News, which is streaming it. That's actually during Trump's primetime speech. Why on earth would Royce and Joe Frazier debate during Trump's primetime speech? I hope they reschedule it. Hey, if you need to reschedule it, you can come on our program and debate. There is Trump going out there and greeting people at the RNC convention. Now, look at that. By the way, just a note, I didn't see any female agents. They're changing that. You've seen the criticism online. A lot of people like, this is the DEI Secret Service. There's a very small woman who left Trump. She was so short that there's so much of Trump remaining. There's Tucker Carlson, Byron Donalds, his sons, and then he's right next to JD Vance. Okay, so anyhow, one last thing I want to talk about, and then we'll go into the post show. And if you want to join our post show and you're not already a sponsor or a supporter of the show, go to Rumble and click on join. Great stuff. You'll get some inside info on a state senator? Maybe a couple state senators, right?
Yeah, there's going to be something about the Rhino Senator, Carla Nelson, not to be confused with the Patriot Carla Nelson, on the post show. We got a couple comments here. Failed candidate says Tushy needs to sprinkle some Adderall on his wings. Focus, brother. Let's see. Bill Dinksven said, where is it here? Bill Dinksven says, failed candidate, maybe Tushy can sprinkle something from Dzinski's stash on his wings. And wings, says Bill Dinksven, I like the way you think, but I can't afford the Jasinski blend, and the truth hurts probably won't accept a sponsorship from a Rhino member of GOP Senate leadership.
We'll bring on rhinos. We'll bring on leftists. We
I mean
love the debate.
He says a sponsorship of something to sprinkle on the wings.
Oh, yeah, well,
You
no
know?
cocaine here. Call Joe up, Jake Razzadell says, yeah, we'll make the offer. I hope they cancel it because they shouldn't do it. Do you need to take off?
Oh, I'm okay.
Oh, I thought you were leaving.
Oh no.
Oh.
Just getting a drink.
Oh, God. You're moving forward. It's like, where are you going, Carla? I wanted you on the post show. All right, so bring up line 16 here, Dawson. This was just before we went on air. So Gavin Newsom has now signed a bill, this bill in California. Oh, shoot. Where did it go on mine? I know I had it opened. 1 second. Yes, Brad, I know. Show prep. I get it. It's a hang, though. LA Times. Oh, it's right here. I couldn't find it. Okay. Gavin Newsom signed a bill on Monday that prohibits mandating that teachers notify families about student gender identity changes, capping a year-long battle between conservative school boards concerned about parental rights and LGBTQ plus activists worried about vulnerable youth. The new law shields teachers from retaliation for supporting transgender student rights. This is LA Times, right? By the way, this is not my commentary. This is LA Times. For supporting transgender student rights and prohibits K through 12, quote, forced disclosure rules. It comes in response to school board decisions in some red pockets of California to notify parents if their child changes their name or pronouns, or if students request to use facilities or participate in programs that don't match their gender on official records. Now, this is insanity, first of all. It's really abusive what they're doing. But also, look at that headline. 20-year-old who almost killed Trump was a bright student, had a job, and belonged to a gun club. Look at that. You see that headline? God, LA Times. Of course you're going to write that. Ooh, those evil gun clubs. We must shut down those gun clubs, right? Oh, I'll tell you what. Anyhow, this is awful. And Minnesota, we broke a story last year. We had somebody from inside the Noka School District who talked about a child being transitioned, and administrators were against their parents even knowing. And this is also a story that we've heard about in California. You have a lot to comment on this because it's part of your campaign. So we'll do more of this in the post show. If you want to join us and be a sponsor of the show, help everything we're doing, buy the wings for Tushy. Actually, no, we have a sponsor for the wings, Quinny's Pub and Grill.
Thank you to Quinny's Pub and Grill for this delicious Goucher Jang 20 wings. It was wonderful. We appreciate you. Wings every show. Thanks to Quinny's.
Yeah. In Matamidi. By the way, it's a really nice pub and grill. I love it. That's my go-to place. Not that I get out too much. I got little kids at home. I couldn't even make Carla's event last night. I was coaching Colton's baseball. So, what? Oh, you got, okay. I saw you going like this. I was like, what is he signaling? And all you're doing is you're picking up wings off, or pieces of wings off of the desk. By the way, you need to clean that desk there, buddy.
Thankfully, Janice at Quinny's Pub and Grill provided some of these wet naps for me to clean my hands and possibly the desk.
All right, if you want to be a sponsor and support good things, even his wing eating habit, go on Rumble right now, click on join. We're going to be live on our post show in about 2 minutes. We couldn't have done this with our great sponsors, Alpine Cabinetry in St. Cloud, Minnesota, Warren Wessel of Keller Williams Realty, John Galt Mortgage Company, and the lovely Patriot Carla Nelson at Yes Solutions for all your shipping needs. We got dirt on the Senator Carla Nelson apparently in our post show. More info on rumors and stuff going around. Maybe we'll get a little bit into the ROM thing in CD2. And we'll talk a little bit about with Carla Nelson about this issue with transgender kids. So we got a lot in the post show. I hope you guys can join us. We'll kick it off in a couple minutes for the people that are joining. We usually get a couple new members each time. I hope you're one of them. So just go to Rumble, click on join. For everyone else, we'll see you here Thursday at 1 o'clock. Take care.